It's V Week on ESPN as we continue Jim Valvano's fight against cancer.
Welcome to the Hall of Fame Classic on ESPN. We're at Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles. And a good matchup for you on this Friday night from LA. It is number 25 USC Trojans against the Oklahoma Sooners from Staples Center here tonight. This is part of a triple header, by the way, at Staples Center. Earlier, Arizona State with a win here. And still to come, Nevada takes on TCU right here at Staples Center. Along with the Hall of Famer, Bill Walton, Roxy Bernstein with you. And Bill, USC, Oklahoma, some great guards will be on display in this one.
We have everything tonight. We've got the Hall of Fame, the top of the mountain, the City of Angels. A beautiful day here in California, despite the fires. We've got ESPN, Nike, AEG, the best of the best in the business of the sport world. We got the Trojan Marching Band. What more could you ask for? We've got fabulous future Hall of Famers on the court tonight. Let's go. We've got a game, Roxy.
And the nation's leading scorer will watch tonight. Trae Young, the freshman for the Sooners.
Not only is he leading the nation scoring, the last 5 games he's had over 28 points. That's what he's averaging. He's number 3 in the nation in distributing the ball in assists. And this guy, Jordan McLaughlin, you couldn't ask for a finer human being. He's an excellent player. He's a senior leader. He's from the Los Angeles area, out in the Inland Empire. Tonight, he's going to try to become the king of the world. And if I'm Jordan McLaughlin, I look at all the pub for Trae Young and I said, hey, look at me. Tonight, the light's all shining on me. Great coaches, great players, great fans, and the Trojan Marching Band. Arthur Bartner, 47 years, the director of the band.
But when you played at UCLA, did you like the Trojan Marching Band?
Heavens no, they were the enemy. Now they're my teammates. USC tied for second place in the history of the world with the most Hall of Famers from their school.
So who, can you name them?
All 12 of them?
Go, let's go. We got time.
We got time?
We got time.
I thought we had a game.
Can you name all 12?
I could name a lot of them.
Okay.
Sam Barry.
Okay.
Bill Sharman, 2 times. Alex Hannum. Lisa Leslie. Cynthia Cooper. Tex Winter. Jack Gardner.
Okay, yeah.
And
what do you think about that? USC, the Trojans come in at 4-2, trying to snap a 2-game slide after a 4-0 start. Andy Enfield in his 5th year at SC after the 2 successful years at Florida Gulf Coast, where he took Gulf Coast to the Sweet 16, brought his Dunk City out west. And Lon Kruger on the other side, from Oklahoma, also a head coach in the NBA. He is the only coach in the history of college basketball to take 5 different schools to the NCAA tournament.
Lon and I are contemporaries. We're both 65. We're both class of 1974. He was at K-State playing for Jack Hartman, an incredible coach of his own right. Lon Kruger is going on to the Hall of Fame, and Andy Enfield, just a youngster in his mid-40s. This guy is one of my all-time favorites. He's bright, he's enthusiastic, he's a leader, he's inspirational, and he's got these Trojans in a perfect position. They're two big men, Metu in the middle, jumping center, Beenie Boatwright at the forward. They're the leading scorers. Jordan McLaughlin comes in at the 3rd spot. 3 guys leading the charge for Andy Enfield. Trojans on their way. The band, strike it up.
Early on, it's Jonah Matthews that draws the assignment of Trae Young. And the freshman fires from the corner. And Trae Young continues to knock him down from long range.
Now that's a heat check. There was absolutely nothing going on in that play.
But can you have a heat check 25 seconds into the game?
I think it's the best time to have it. Find out if it's there for you. Guess who's here tonight? Dana Pump or David. One of them just walked by and said hello.
And a travel on Beenie Boatwright of USC.
By the end of the game, we'll get the entire list of who you had for those 12 Hall of Famers for the USC Trojans.
So the Sooners come in at 6-1. They've won 4 straight. Their only loss was in the PK 80 to Arkansas on Thanksgiving as Brady Manick, the other talented freshman for the Sooners, knocks in a 3.
This is a completely different looking team that we saw at PK 80. That loss to Arkansas
Chimezie Metu with a basket for USC. We welcome those of you just joining us to Staples Center after college football on ESPN2, along with the Hall of Famer Bill Walton. Roxy Bernstein with you for the Hall of Fame Hoop Hall here in LA. 6-2 Oklahoma, the early lead, a couple of threes from the freshman of the Sooners, Trae Young, Brady Manick, and now a three from Christian James, and Oklahoma's come out red hot here in LA.
Now this is Oklahoma Sooner basketball.
And Elijah Stewart with an answer for the Trojans.
Elijah was not able to be at practice today. He was taking an exam just down the street. USC is literally 1 mile away from where we sit here in Staples Center. Just one of the absolute incredible entertainment venues in the history of the world.
Brady Manick tries to clean up the miss from Young, and the rebound tracked down by Jonah Matthews in USC.
Jonah Matthews, one of the prodigies of the beautiful play of the Matthews family that has been huge factors in California West Coast basketball for many a year.
His dad, Phil Matthews, the former head coach of the University of San Francisco,
is
now the head coach at Riverside Community College. His brother, Jordan Matthews, played 3 years at Cal before being a grad transfer last year with Gonzaga that went all the way to the national championship game.
Send it back, Metu. Chimezie. Will somebody please come in and get a long rebound for the Trojans?
And it's run down by Kadeem Lattin for the Sooners.
Oklahoma has already played better in this first 2.5 minutes than they played the entire weekend up at PK 80 in Portland.
Beenie Boatwright the rebound.
They're playing at a faster pace. They're just playing with so much more confidence, so much more direction, purpose, passion. Thank goodness.
And they're wearing the same uniforms they wore at the PK 80. They broke them back out for this game here in LA tonight.
Well, you know it's a big game when Eric Lautenbach is here. Eric, who runs college basketball for Nike, greatest sports company in the history of the world. Tell you, this guy Trae Young, he's got it.
And a goaltend against Metu is Trae Young with 5 of Oklahoma's 11. So Trae Young already with 5. He leads the country in scoring. He averages just under 29 points per game. He's also 3rd in the country in assists, Bill, and he scored 28 or more in each of the last 5 games.
He's got the reputation. He's a local boy from Norman, Oklahoma. Grew up in a basketball family, turned down in Kentucky and Kansas. That's an offensive foul. They send that the other way.
It's on Jordan McLaughlin of USC. The senior called for his first, but Trae Young, McDonald's All-American. Bill, he could have gone anywhere he wanted to as Matt Freeman checks in for the Sooners, the New Zealand native. But he chose to stay home and play for Oklahoma and Lon Kruger.
Well, his dad, Ray, his dad was a real player. Played at Texas Tech and then in the NBA for a cup of coffee before a 10-year career over in Europe. He married his high school sweetheart, Candace. And now Trae is out here just dominating the world. He looks so much better. I mean, he was badly outplayed by Macon from Arkansas in the first game.
Matt Freeman from deep.
Look at the long rebounds. The Trojans are not rotating to the ball.
Young misses on a 3, and Metu clears for the Trojans.
So watch Metu move for the boards. Talking to him before the game today, he was telling me how he really studies Joel Embiid and Karl Anthony Towns. You got current young NBA stars. Beautiful ball movement there by the Trojans. Whoa, wild.
Broken up by Cameron McGusty, who checked in. Christian James knocks in his second 3.
Christian James, who was huge 2 years ago when he was playing off of Buddy Hield, who was the College Player of the Year, as they went to the Final Four, beating Oregon from the Conference of Champions in the Elite 8 to get there. I love this pace of basketball. Whoa.
Beenie Boatwright, the long 2 for USC.
Trojans have lost their last 2 games. They still seem to be in a little bit of funk. They were pounded by Texas A&M, which is a really good team. And then SMU, solid at home. They've won, what, 28
Trae Young 3. And they were leading by 3 at SMU. The Mustangs took it to USC in the second half.
The Trojans are a puzzling team. Throw it down, Elijah.
Shot blocked by Kadeem Lattin.
This pace is just tremendous.
Third 3 for Christian James.
And the infield has seen enough. The Sooners, they have jumped out early on. Trojans caught off guard, thinking they're just going to be able to come out. But with everybody pushing the attack right now. Trae Young setting the tempo and everybody else delivering jumpers. And when you can put this shot down, you got a lot going for you.
Welcome to the Pac-12 on ESPN at Staples Center in Los Angeles, and it's Oklahoma blistering the Nets. They're up 20-9 on number 25 USC. They've hit 6 threes already.
I thought you wanted to talk about that tallest building in the background. Just opened recently, the Wilshire Grand Center, the tallest building west of the Mississippi River. Houses the Korean Airlines Company. There it is, right in the middle, just absolutely spectacular. Los Angeles downtown has been revitalized. It started about 15, 17 years ago with this LA Live AEG. And right now it's just booming, and all the new young talent, the millennials, are moving downtown here, and the construction everywhere. Very reminiscent of what's going on in Shanghai, just at a much different scale. 73-story buildings do not even get mentioned in Shanghai.
It's got to be at least 100.
We've been there.
Yes, we have.
So you ask about the 12 USC Hall of Famers. This is Hall of Fame night. We're talking tons of Hall of Fame. Sam Barry, Jerry Buss, Cynthia Cooper, Alvin Dewar, Jack Gardner, Alex Hannum, Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Miller, George Raveling, Bill Sharman 2 times, and Tex Winter. Second place overall. They're tied for second with 2 other schools behind the #1 school with Hall of Famers, and that's the University of Kansas. Will be there Sunday.
Cameron McGusty from deep, and the rebound Benny Boatwright for USC.
Why did they take out Christian James?
Elijah Stewart knocks in a 3 for the Trojans, his second.
Elijah Stewart, like Chimezi Metu, just incredible upside. Physical specimens. They're super lucky they got it. They've got Curtis Schultz as their strength and conditioning coach, who's just superb, a former player himself. Basketball, spent a ton of time at Maryland, the glory days, early 1990s.
The leaner for Jordan McLaughlin, and he'll go to the line +1 for the USC point guard.
You've been to Etiwanda lately, where he's from?
I have not been to Etiwanda. I've been close to it. Rancho Cucamonga's right there.
Right.
I've been to Rancho Cucamonga.
Ontario, Upland,
out the
Claremont College, right at the base of Mount Baldy. What they have done out there is nothing short of spectacular. We talked about the renaissance in downtown Los Angeles, spearheaded by AEG and LA Live, and now everything else around it is just over the top perfect. The same thing is happening in Etiwanda. Just beautiful neighborhoods, businesses, transportation,
but no 75-story buildings.
They don't need it. They have Mount Baldy right there. Have you ever ridden your bike up to the end of the road at Mount Baldy?
I have not done that. Have you?
2 times. Two times too many. It's the toughest bike ride I've ever done.
9-0 run for USC.
So they're right back in it here. Can Oklahoma find that hot hand that they had early on?
Well, this game will be up and down all night. This will be a fun game to watch. It's Jimani McNeese the rebound for the Sooners.
Jimani McNeese, extremely talented in a lot of different aspects.
Chimezi Metu leads the break.
Oh, man.
The pass was intended for Stewart. It hit Boatwright, went out of bounds.
When Boatwright finds himself in that position ahead of the ball as the guy in the middle, pull back, slow down, let the spacing open the court. Basketball is all about change of pace, change of direction, and being at a different speed. Trae Young normally plays literally the whole game, but he gets a short break right about now. Lon Kruger, he'll be a Hall of Famer very soon. Is he already in the College Basketball Hall of Fame?
I don't believe so. As that one rattled in from Cameron McGusty from the corner.
That's a mistake.
7-3 for Oklahoma.
That he's not there in the Kansas City NABC Hall of Fame. 2-time former Big 8 Player of the Year, beating out Scott Wedman of Colorado.
Scott Wedman, your former teammate.
Absolutely, one of my greatest friends and greatest teammates.
Benny Boatwright off on the 3. But this Oklahoma team They average nearly 95 points per game, as they are the second highest scoring team in the country.
Lon Kruger, who was a multi-sport athlete growing up in Silver Lake, Kansas, which is just east of Topeka. Quarterback in football, pitcher, infielder in baseball, drafted in Major League Baseball. The Cowboys were interested in him. Drafted in the NBA, the Detroit Pistons.
Metu, another rebound for USC.
But none of that worked out, so he married his wife Barbara, and they've gone on to coaching. And what a story.
And he's got his son on his staff as an assistant. That's Metu with the basket, but Kevin Kruger, who used to play at Arizona State and UNLV, is now an assistant for Dad on the Oklahoma bench.
Fantastic. We got a timeout here on the court at Staples Center. We're celebrating the Hall of Fame. We're in California, but it's New York that leads the list of states that have produced the most Hall of Famers ever, followed by Pennsylvania, Illinois, New Jersey, California, and Indiana.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Zales. 'Tis the season to save and sparkle more than ever. And Domino's. Oh, yes, we did.
The Walt Disney Theater, right on the northern edge of Los Angeles. This place is just absolutely spectacular. A lot of things going on in downtown LA, including on the campus at USC, Roxy.
Well, it's been a turbulent start to the season for USC. They've dealt with some off-the-floor issues, as you're probably aware of, with the FBI investigation into college basketball, and USC assistant Tony Bland was arrested in that FBI operation.
And is no longer with the program.
He is not with the program. And also USC is holding out DeAnthony Melton because of that investigation by the FBI. There were some rumblings that he might play tonight, but he is still not cleared for action by USC. He is on the bench, but he is not playing yet for USC. He's grabbing the rebound off the bench is Nick Rakocevic for the Trojans.
He hasn't played this year, but apparently there's no evidence about anything with DeAnthony Melton.
Well, there's some controversy.
Controversy?
Well, it was
no way.
It was I know, it's surprising to you. It's chronicled
Shocking.
that possibly the information that the FBI had was wrong in terms of a family friend taking a impermissible benefit, which was reported that he did, but then there was video evidence that he did not, depending on who you talk to. But as of right now, Melton is not cleared.
A top level player who was supposed to be starting, and this is USC's highest ranked team in the preseason in 43 years. I mean, this was supposed to be a spectacular year. They've started out very well, but the last two games have ended up in disappointing losses.
Metu, tough shot.
Great pass for Rakocevic.
I guess he wasn't ready for the alley-oop.
No, he was ready, but there's great defense.
Cameron McGusty finishes for Oklahoma.
You can have great offense and great defense on the same play. That's what makes basketball the perfect game.
Ball knocked free. And an over and back violation and turnover by Jonah Matthews of USC. Saturday we'll have an afternoon doubleheader of hoops. Number 1 Duke takes on Boston College at noon Eastern from Chestnut Hill. And then it's Indiana and Louisville. Both games are on ESPN and streaming live on the ESPN app.
Trae Young, fortunately, back in. And with him leading the nation in scoring at over 28 points a game, it's important to put everything in historical perspective. You know, Pete Maravich, he averaged 44 points a game plus for his career.
Kadeem Latin inside. He gets his first points, and Oklahoma pushed the lead back out to 7.
Kadeem Latin, the senior, the grandson of Big Daddy D. Latin from Glory Road, UTEP back in 1966. The one team that won the championship during that long string by UCLA. That's a terrible call. Jordan McLaughlin just faked that. A little bit of contact.
Latin did bump him, Bill.
Please, you sound like a little whining guard. Please don't let him touch me. Come on, this is basketball.
You're right, I did like contact.
What are you doing sitting next to me then? Oh.
Shot clock inside 10. Elijah Stewart a long 3. And the rebound tipped out to Jordan Shepard. And here comes Oklahoma again.
Oklahoma has regrouped.
The block by Stewart.
Stewart, 8th in the history of USC as a shot blocker. 8th as a guard.
Rebound tipped out to McLaughlin.
Who's 2nd all-time in assists.
And a travel called against Shaquan Aaron in USC.
So USC came charging back and looked to be back in control. And you would think that they would be the favored team. They're what, ranked 25th in the country? Oklahoma is receiving votes.
Well, we saw Oklahoma in Portland, the PK80.
And while they won 2 games, I didn't see much. They got pounded by Arkansas. They didn't play with fire.
I wouldn't say they got pounded, Bill. They lost by 9. That's not getting pounded.
That's getting pounded.
So I consider if you lose by 20, that's getting pounded.
No, man. When your best player gets beat by Macon, and Macon was the best player in that game. This guy, Brady Manick, also a freshman, just like Trae Young, also from Oklahoma. I like his game. He's got a long, lanky, lean body, real nice spring to his step.
8 threes for the Sooners. It's a double-digit lead again. It's Shaquan Aaron missing the 3. Kadeem Latin clears for Oklahoma.
I love watching Jordan McLaughlin play basketball.
Shepard from the corner, way off on the 3.
Hardest ball to rebound of all, the air ball. You just have, you can't believe it's that off.
Can you anticipate that?
Okay, Andy Enfield's got to get Shaquan Aaron out of this game. The guy's missed 3 straight 20-foot jumpers. Because he's not going to stop shooting. And Andy, being the academic All-American that he was and is from Johns Hopkins University, a legendary player, wild. Oh my God!
And he banked it in. Even Trae Young is laughing. He looked over at us and he's laughing. 11 for Young.
Trae
Young,
the
largest lead for the Sooners.
Trae Young's favorite player ever, Steve Nash. Send it back. Kadeem Latin, yeah. Whose mom played at USC. Whose mom played for the Houston Comets. 3-time champion.
10-0 run for Oklahoma. Did he mean to do this, Bill?
Absolutely. Looked right over here and said, yeah, that's in your face, big boy. Enough of these whining guards comments.
Well, Bill, I know we're here to celebrate the Hall of Fame in basketball, but the real Hall of Famers this week have been the firefighters fighting these fires all over Southern California.
Our first responders, this is something that happens a lot this time of year. The dry winds, the dry climate here. Hasn't rained since last March in Southern California, and they are burning wildly out of control. Be safe, everyone. Let's come together and get this thing back under control in the promised land.
Over 70 homes have been destroyed. Over 200,000 people have been evacuated as the fires have stretched from north of LA all the way down to San Diego County.
A lot of our family and friends have had to evacuate. Great defense by Kadeem Latin, who's just playing a superb floor game. And you got an offense ignited by this superb little talent who just loves all the great point guards. Oh, what a pass. This is a completely different Trae Young than we saw at PK80.
Well, they did go for 43 in their win against Oregon on the Sunday.
We didn't do that
We
game.
didn't have that game. And Jordan McLaughlin calls a timeout to save the possession.
Guess who's here tonight?
So it's the second timeout that USC has used.
Ralph Sampson's here tonight.
The Hall of Famer.
Celebrating the Hall of Fame basketball. Ralph, one of the greatest ever. His wife Patrice here with him. Courtside, where he belongs.
So Ralph Sampson, the Hall of Famer, courtside, taking in this one between number 25 USC and Oklahoma. It's the Sooners right now getting the better of the Trojans as Elijah Stewart knocks down his third 3.
A much needed jumper for Elijah Stewart, who seems to have left his game in the classroom just down the street. Ralph Sampson, class of 2012 in the Hall of Fame. Same class as Reggie Miller from Los Angeles. Ralph's living here in town now. He and Patrice have a beautiful home over in Brentwood. But Ralph is one of 3 players in the history of basketball to be a 3-time college player of the year. Beautiful pass, Elijah.
And the lay-in for Nick Rakocevic.
And he was on his way to rewriting the history books in basketball, and then he tore up his knee. and things have never been the same for Ralph. And fortunately, he's looking great right now. I'm not sure if he's had it replaced yet, but he's always maintained a superb level of fitness. His physique just exactly the same way it was when he came on the scene for Terry Holland in Virginia back in the early 80s, and that glorious stretch of basketball with Patrick Ewing, Akeem Olajuwon, Ralph Sampson, soon followed by David Robinson. Wow.
You played against him in the NBA.
Oh, in the NBA Finals. Yeah, no, he was a great one. That's a violation. Andy Enfield can't believe that. That ball was in the cylinder.
They'll give it to Kadeem Latin, the assist to Trae Young, but Andy Enfield, one of the offensive goaltend.
Kadeem Allen is the vocal leader of this team. The best player is Trae Young, but the spirit and the fire and the intensity.
Well, he's a senior leader. And a charge is called on Jordan McLaughlin, his second foul.
Ralph Sampson, who played many years in the NBA's #1 overall pick, followed the very next year by Akeem Olajuwon with the #1 pick, and things were never the same again. The Rockets back up there, still on top with a completely different cast of characters. But this guy, Ralph Sampson, he could fly, he could soar. And he was a 7'4" player who had a game like Scottie Pippen in terms of fluidity, grace, agility, mobility, and flying through the air. Absolutely spectacular. It was so sad the day he tore up that knee.
Was the 84 finals where you went up against him?
86 finals.
86 finals.
Yes. Ralph, who's here as part of the Hall of Fame celebration here, 3-time College Player of the Year, #1 draft pick, Rookie of the Year, 4-time All-Star, would have been 15-year All-Star if he had been able to stay healthy.
Foul on USC.
Oscar Robertson was the very first 3-time College Player of the Year. Shocking that that's one of the awards that Kareem did not get. Elvin Hayes beat him in Kareem's junior year.
Shot clock inside 10.
Beautiful pass.
Brady Manick rattles out the rebound. Benny Boatwright in USC.
Trae Young is a lot better player. And Elgin Baylor just walked in and sat down next to Ralph. How cool
This is
that?
The Hall of Fame
Really?
hoop hall here in LA.
Send it
so
back
some
to
Hall of
Kadeem
Famers
Allen.
should be here. And I get to sit with a Hall of Famer tonight.
Beautiful.
Kadeem Latin pulls down the rebound.
If Oklahoma had played like this against Arkansas, they would have won that game. Nice passing.
Brady Manick, corner three. And the rebound, Chimezi Metu.
But Lon Kruger doesn't care. Just keep taking those shots. That's Oklahoma Sooner basketball. That's Lon Kruger basketball. That's become Big 12 basketball, which inexplicably has 10 teams in it. The math makes it very difficult for me to make these adjustments.
We know math is difficult for you.
Offensive foul. They waved that off.
And it's on Chimezi Metu. And you mentioned Elgin Baylor being here.
And his wife Elaine.
There they are.
Elaine with the head down, checking out the program tonight. Traffic on Friday night to get from where they lived to Staples Center.
Trying to get anywhere around LA on a Friday during rush hour. Good luck.
That's why everybody just stays at LA Live. And we just walk right across, and it's fantastic. On a beautiful shirt sleeve evening in, what is it? What part of December are we in?
We're still relatively early
Is it
December.
early December?
8th.
So 2 notes today. This is the entertainment capital of the world,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So this would have been Jim Morrison's 74th birthday today. He went to a school across town.
The same school that you went to.
Yes, UCLA. And it was there that he met Ray Manzarek in a class. And they went down to Venice Beach. And they said, you know what? Let's open some of the doors of perception.
And a foul before
Benny
the
Boatwright.
shot
Oh,
on the
please.
floor against Oklahoma.
They need to modernize this rule.
That's on Matt Freeman.
Hall of Fame night right here, celebrating the City of Angels and the future of our world. USC, Oklahoma, Ralph Sampson, Elgin Baylor, Patrice, and Elaine. Here we go.
Saturday, we'll have a trifecta of events for you on ESPN at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. It's MLS Cup between Toronto FC and the Seattle Sounders. Then at 8, the Heisman Trophy presentation. And at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, Top Rank Boxing, the WBO Junior Lightweight title fight between Vasily Lomachenko and Guillermo Rigondeaux.
Okay, who's your pick?
Finalist.
You're a voter, right?
I am a voter.
Okay, who'd you vote for?
I can't tell you.
You can't tell you?
No, we have to keep
You're sworn to
votes.
secrecy?
I am.
Even after it's over?
No, after it's over, I can tell you.
Okay, I voted for Baker Mayfield.
But you don't have a vote.
But I also voted for Bryce Love.
Did you vote for Lamar Jackson too?
I don't know. I'm a little concerned with what's going on in Louisville. But Stanford and Oklahoma, I'm with them.
Jumoney McNeese with a block on Benny Boatwright.
Jumoney McNeese is the most athletically gifted player on this Sooner squad. And the way that Lon Kruger uses him. And here's Matt Freeman, the New Zealand Flash. Wow.
Flashing to the hoop is Rashard Odoms for his first points.
The only left-handed player on the Sooner squad. And speaking of Baker Mayfield, who I think will win tomorrow night in New York, the Sooner athletic director, Joe Castiglione, he's here tonight. And when this game is over, he's going to go down to LAX. He's going to get on a red eye. They got a lot of those between LA and New York. And he's going to get on that red eye and be there tomorrow representing his Sooner athletic program, which is just absolutely spectacular. Number 2 in the country. They're going to play in the Rose Bowl out here against Georgia, I'm told.
In the college football playoff.
So I was talking to Curtis Schultz, right, who's spent 10 years as a strength and conditioning coach in the NFL with Tampa Bay and Minnesota, another team that'll come to mind quickly. But Curtis, and I asked him who's going to win the college football deal. He said, you always have to beat Alabama. It's basically like the NBA right now. You always have to beat LeBron. You always have to beat the Golden State Warriors. And Alabama is at that level. I watched that Clemson-Alabama game last year. That was spectacular. Whoa, what a runner.
Trae Young with 15 and will go to the line for an and one.
There's an incredible online article today about Trae Young. Talks about his whole life, about everything he's been doing. His favorite guards in history. Steve Nash, all-time favorite, but Steve is done. Jamal Crawford, he's still playing, right? Kyrie Irving, Damian Lillard, what a player. Tony Parker, hopefully he's going to be back soon, and then Steph Curry. Wow, that's a list of. And one of the wonderful things for young people is to have a hero that you choose. Who was your hero, Roxy? Bill King?
Bill King was certainly one of them.
Rick Barry, beautiful defense by Trae.
Kevin Johnson was my guy.
Kevin Johnson, what a player. Oh my gosh.
Deep three from Trae Young.
Kadeem Latin keeping it alive.
And Oklahoma just right now getting every loose ball and outplaying USC.
They've been the better team since the opening tap. USC had a short run right there midway through this half.
There is a warning to Lon Kruger for being out of the coaching box. So Tony Padilla coming over, and that's something that they are enforcing.
You would hope so. It's a rule.
And there was a couple lines over there. That's Lon was saying. That's what threw him off a little bit because there's a white line. You see it that much closer to midcourt. He was inside that line. He thought that was the coaching box line, but
is that the NBA line?
That's the one that your son gets to patrol. Yeah. Although he's at the other end of the floor here at Staples.
Big victory for the Lakers last night. Wow, everybody in Los Angeles ecstatic.
I'm surprised they let you in the building here tonight. Didn't the coach of the Lakers ask him to ban you from the facility?
He wanted to.
Coming up on the Land Rover halftime report with Zubin Mehenti and LaFonso Ellis. They'll be in studio a Saturday Hoops preview as V-Week continues and stats and a breakdown of this first half between number 25 USC and Oklahoma.
But I'm super lucky. I know Michael Roth and I know Phil Anschutz, and they said I could come anytime. AEG, the premier sports business and management company in the history of the world. Did you know?
Put McLaughlin at the line.
You know, AEG, they built this building.
Yes.
They built buildings all over the world. On the top of this building, 1,727 solar panels just above us right now, generating all the power for this entire LA Live complex. It is brilliant. And if you go up into one of these office or hotel towers right here and look around you are going to see the most spectacular view. I was up there today and looking out the Santa Monica Mountains because the fires are north from here. They're not in downtown Los Angeles. And people have no idea about the scope of just how big this entire city in Southern California is. And, you know, from Santa Barbara to the Mexican border down where I live, there are 30 million people that live right in this area.
Now, when did they put those solar panels on top of Staples Center?
When they built it.
Really? Oh, so all the way back there?
Well, they put it up there sometime. I'm not sure the exact date.
What? You're not sure?
Let me call Phil and ask him.
Do we need to fact check this? Loose ball run down by McLaughlin.
Fact check the number. I'll have to get the date to you.
Benny Boatwright will head to the line. That's on Matt Freeman of Oklahoma.
Oklahoma's been quicker. Oklahoma has been more assertive. Oklahoma has been willing to put their body on somebody else.
Second foul on Freeman is Latin and Freeman with 2 fouls each.
So Freeman from New Zealand. This Oklahoma team in August went to New Zealand, and they also went to Australia. And when they were over there, Trae Young, who was joined the team as a freshman, and he has a phobia about birds. And so Trae Young does. And so whenever he saw these birds, and if you go to New Zealand or Australia, that's all you see is birds. Because we have chased all the birds away here. And so he's just terrified.
They migrated south.
He is terrified of birds.
Well, it's cool to see Matt Freeman's parents, John and Louise. They came all the way from New Zealand to Portland for the PK80s.
Are they still here tonight?
I don't believe they're
at the Hall of Fame Classic?
No. I believe they went home. Trae Young fires. And Brady Manick cleans it up for Oklahoma.
Brady Manick, his sense of anticipation, his quickness, the bounce to his step, reminds me a lot of a younger, lighter, not as powerful Svi from Kansas, who we will see on Sunday. Well, he's one of my favorite players. Svi. That's
okay. Yeah,
I got that.
I know who you're talking about.
Svi. Is this a foul here? See, that gets called a foul. You put your arm right up through the other guy's hands and you're shooting that ball over the top. Great defense, Jordan McLaughlin.
James saves it from going to the backcourt, and then a foul on USC at the midcourt line will put Young to the stripe.
Benny Boatwright grew up in the San Fernando Valley, Mission Hills. His dad's an LAPD guy, the cop, right? And so just a great dude, Officer Boatwright, and very involved with his son Benny's career and everything, training him, raising him, bringing him down to the police academy constantly. And to this day, Officer Boatwright comes to the USC campus and he brings all of his fellow officers and they talk to the guys and they explain to them everything that's going on in the real world out there. With Los Angeles being as diverse a city as there is ever anywhere. Wow.
13-point lead for Oklahoma. They've matched their largest lead of the night with 44.9 to go in the half. Saturday, we have an afternoon doubleheader of hoops. #1 Duke takes on Boston College at noon Eastern from Chestnut Hill. Then it's Indiana and Louisville. Both games are on ESPN and streaming live on the ESPN app.
Miles Bagley, that guy's a good player.
Marvin Bagley.
Marvin Bagley?
Yeah.
Okay. That guy's a good player.
He is a very good player. Speaking of talented freshmen, what about what we've seen from Trae Young? He has 18 already.
Love it all. Maybe he's on his way to the Hall of Fame since he's got Jamal Wilkes, Elgin Baylor, and Ralph Sampson right here tonight.
Our Player Spotlight brought to you by Disney Star Wars, The Last Jedi.
One of the things about Trae Young, he can sell tickets and he can move merchandise. And football is king in Norman, but the fans are realizing what a special talent he is. The best freshman guard in OU history. You know, Buddy Hield was the player of the year a couple years ago. They've had 2 players of the year. Blake Griffin, who plays for the Clippers here, although he's hurt right now. Zone defense here. Lon's really trying to confuse him.
Matthews from deep. And Boatwright takes the rebound away for USC. And Elijah Stewart hits from the corner.
Elijah Stewart's ability to elevate. He is second on the team to Metu in terms of the standing, jump, and reach. Curtis Schultz, who trains all these guys, who measures them. he just raves about Elijah Stewart, who came here as a young man. Oh, beautiful.
20 for Trae Young. And we've gone to halftime at Staples Center, and Oklahoma leads number 25, USC by 12.
And young Trae Young, he just put Elijah Stewart, a senior, on his backside with a crossover to runner down the lane. That's Hall of Fame material right there. He's better than I thought.
48-36, Oklahoma. After the break, we'll take it to the studio with Zubin Mehenti and LaFonso Ellis. Land Rover halftime report.
And he still keeps getting better.
It's V Week on ESPN as we continue Jim Valvano's fight against cancer.
You're watching the Hall of Fame Classic on ESPN. Getting ready for the start of the second half in LA. Oklahoma leads number 25, USC 48-36. So the Hall of Fame Classic at Staples Center, where the Oklahoma Sooners, Bill, they hit 9 threes in the first half, lead USC by 12, along with the Hall of Famer Bill Walton. Roxy Bernstein with you, and Oklahoma and Trae Young dominating this first half.
It was a beautiful exhibition of how you play the world's most perfect game. Everything for Oklahoma from the opening tip. This little guy right here, who's been going to Oklahoma Sooner games since he was 7 or 8 years old. He grew up 11 minutes from the Noble Center there where the Sooners play their home games. And right now he looks like he's totally at home, and everything has been fantastic. And you can see why, the way that the Sooners are playing right now, that Bob Dylan decided to rest his archives in Tulsa, just up the road there from Oklahoma City and Norman. They're just basically the same city down there. But Bob Dylan...
No, Tulsa's a little bit further away.
Just up the road a little bit. But Bob Dylan recently joined Woody Guthrie and Phil Oakes. What George Kaiser has done there in terms of making this... Oh, they're going to call... This looks like an inadvertent whistle.
Tony Padilla and Chris Rastatter, officials working with Keith Kimball, trying to get on the same page here. Turnovers were a problem for USC. They committed 12 in the first half.
Oklahoma was quicker to the ball every single time. George Kaiser is going to have to open a museum for the Sooner basketball the way they're playing, and Andy Enfield cannot be happy.
So they'll go to the arrow to determine who should have the ball, and it goes to Oklahoma.
So what was the call?
So it was a jump ball because it was a tie-up.
Okay,
out there, and the jump ball
we'll just move on,
which
from
is turnover number 13 for USC. Oklahoma 9 of 18 from 3 in the first half. Christian James attacks, has it knocked out of bounds. It stays with the Sooners.
Oklahoma is passing the ball quickly. They're passing it hard and with velocity. That's how you attack. You can't just hand it off to somebody who's wide open. Get the defense back on their heels, and that's what the Sooners have done from the opening tap. Let it fly, Brady, please. Zone defense here for Andy Enfield and the Trojans.
Kadeem Latin, tough shot. And the rebound, Chimezi Metu in USC.
Metu with an Akeem Olajuwon, Ralph Sampson type of play. Look at that defense by Kadeem Latin. Have you seen Glory Road?
I have seen the movie.
Wow, special. Big Daddy D. Big Daddy D. Kadeem's grandfather, playing for Bear Haskins, the only job Bear ever had as a head coach, UTEP, except for 3 days at Detroit Mercy, which we just had last week. Was that last week?
That was last week. Elijah Stewart.
Whoa.
Air balls at 3. He leads USC with 12 points.
I thought you were going to say he leads USC with air balls. The ball movement for Oklahoma is just quicker, sharper, and then you got this guy who can finish.
23 now for Trae Young, who scored 20 or more in each of his 7 college games.
And 28 for 5 or more for 5 straight games. Trae Young averaged in high school, just a year ago, averaged 43 points a game in high school.
Elijah Stewart answers for the Trojans. 5 threes for the senior Stewart.
So when Calvin Murphy was a freshman in college at Niagara, which is the same age as Trae Young is right now. Calvin Murphy averaged on the freshman team, so granted it's against inferior opponents, but he averaged 49 points a game as a freshman in college.
Hard foul committed by Elijah Stewart.
They changed the rules in 72-73 to allow the freshmen to play.
But you couldn't play as a freshman.
And it was fine. I think they should go back to that.
You don't think the freshmen should be able to play?
No.
They may take a look at this to see if it warrants anything more than a common foul, if a flagrant should be assessed.
Okay, just
Elijah
ask yourself
Stewart.
at home if you would like this to happen to you or your child. And if you don't want it to happen to you.
I don't want it to happen to me.
Okay.
But it happens to me sometimes when I sit next to you.
That's the risk you take. Now, that should be a flagrant foul. There was no attempt on the ball. And the frustration, the disappointment, USC, which has not played a strong game tonight. They're down 12. They're getting outplayed in every aspect, particularly the intangibles.
They started the year 4-0, but losing to Texas A&M and then at SMU, and are trailing here by 12 early in the second half. So the official review to see if it warrants anything more than a common foul to Elijah Stewart, as a common foul was called on the play. And Tony Padilla, working with Keith Kimball and Chris Rastatter, our three officials tonight, are sorting this one out. Almost 2 minutes into the second half, and the Sooners at 6-1, trying to run their record to 7-1. They have a tough ball game coming up next Saturday, as they'll play Wichita State in Wichita, and the Shockers are ranked number 6 in the country.
And they've got a real player. Now, we thought that...
They've got a few of them, actually.
Right, but Landry Shaman, he's the guard head-to-head.
Shaq Morris is really good, too.
I don't know him, but
he's their big guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought this was all about guards, man. That's all you ever want to talk about is guards.
Well, I had to bring up the big guy for you.
Finally, one time. We got Ralph Sampson sitting right here. We got Jamal Wilkes. We got Elgin Baylor. Mitch Richmond. I can't believe that Chris Mullen already left town. Zone defense here for Andy Enfield. This guy, Trae Young, is better than I thought, man.
Brady Manick flips it up and in.
So, big test tonight. He has more than passed this test, Trae Young, against Jordan McLaughlin. Jordan has not been a factor.
Now you're a believer.
I'm a believer. I thought, after the PK80, I said, who is this guy, right? But now, next week on the 16th, they play at Wichita State.
Corner three, knocked in. Christian James. That's 4 threes for James. 10 tonight for the Sooners, and their largest lead. They lead it by 17 over USC, and Andy Enfield wants a timeout.
Andy has seen enough, and it's very frustrating here. And not even the award-winning USC band, who has played more places, won platinum records with Fleetwood Mac. Wow, what a performance by Oklahoma.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Pizza Hut, the best pizza delivery deal. Order today with a large 2-topping pizza for just $7.99.
Do you have a star out there?
No.
No? But you're Bill Walton.
I'm lucky. I'm Luke's dad and your friend, or at least I was when the game started. Upset Wednesday. Washington goes in and hands it to the Jayhawks. Boy, the Jayhawks, there goes their perfect season. We'll be there Sunday. And then Loyola of Chicago, shades of LaRue Martin, they go down to Gainesville and they just thumped the Gators. Just grabbed them by the tail, held their mouths shut, the Gators, and there was nothing that they could do. The pride and joy of the PK80, the Gators just could not get it done.
And it seems they haven't recovered since that big lead that they couldn't hang on to against Duke, because they lose to Florida State, lose to the game to Loyola of Chicago, but
they were up 14 over Duke with 6 minutes to go, and then basically just collapsed.
But for the Pac-12, they need USC to come back here. The conference had some good wins this week, with the Washington win in Kansas City against the Jayhawks, and you were there in Phoenix when Arizona knocked off Texas A&M.
Yes, in an excellent game, best game that I've had all year long. Finally, Beenie Boatwright makes a shot. Conference of Champions is standing on its head right now. Arizona State, undefeated, ranked 15th or 16th. This is just beautiful basketball for Oklahoma.
5 threes for the junior from Houston.
You might want to guard him. I think he's shown that he's going to make that shot. And Trae Young is just such a beautiful floor general. Matthews finally down the lane. We haven't mentioned the fact that Oklahoma, out in front again, Christian James. Tough pass, but it's the Sooners who are sooner to the ball than the Trojans. Literally every time. There's not even the band can get the Trojans going out of their funk.
They could use some of those 12 Hall of Famers to get them going tonight.
Great hands, Jordan McLaughlin defensively.
But again, it's Oklahoma with the loose ball.
Shot clock.
Turnover on the Sooners, but still a couple of opportunities to get a loose ball. And Oklahoma's getting all the 50-50 balls.
If Baker Mayfield wins the Heisman, that'll be the Sooners' 6th. USC has 7.
Tonight's Hall of Fame shining moment brought to you by Zales. And look who's in the middle.
Ralph Sampson, Jamal Wilkes, Elgin Baylor, Mitch Richmond, Hall of Famers abound here. Elgin Baylor, who at 65 years old voluntarily stopped playing against the Clippers that he was the general manager of. They were active NBA players when Elgin was 65. He could still beat them all, but he was worried that he was destroying their confidence. Jamal Wilkes, one of 4 players in the history of the world to have won multiple NCAA and multiple NBA championships. Mitch Richmond,
lead for Oklahoma.
Mitch Richmond, who played for Lon Kruger. There's Jamal right now, and his son Omar. His son Omar is here tonight. He's in the sports agency business now. There's Omar on the left. Didn't he play at Cal, right?
He did. He started at Kansas and transferred to Cal as Elijah Stewart with his 6'3" for USC.
And then Jordan's got an older sister who's been in the modeling and fashion industry forever. Jamal's wife Valerie, the children's mother. And Omar, he works for the Lakers. So it's,
Jordan works for the Lakers. Omar's one of the sports agents.
I can't keep them straight.
Clearly. Foul against USC. All right, can you name the Heisman Trophy winners from Oklahoma?
Billy Sims.
Okay, there's one. Sam Bradford.
Blake Griffin.
Blake Griffin didn't play football. I mean, he probably could have, and he may have won it had he decided to play football.
Barry Schweitzer.
No. Jason White.
George Kaiser.
Brady Manick missing a 3.
Woody Guthrie.
How about Steve Owens?
Phil Oakes. Johnny Cash. Bob Dylan. The Arkansas River. The Kaiser Foundation.
How about the USC Heisman winners?
I'm going to say Marcus Allen.
Yes, that's one of them.
Who I saw in high school. I saw him get basically 1,000 yards in a game. Okay, who else do we have?
O.J. Simpson.
Okay. Keep going.
Carson Palmer.
Okay.
Matt Leinart.
Wow.
Do you count Reggie Bush?
It's not whether I count him or not. It's whether USC and the NCAA.
He did win it. Brady Manick.
Beautiful.
In a 3.
Trae Young delivers the ball out of the double team. That's Steve Nash. Beautiful basketball.
13 threes for the Sooners and an offensive foul on USC.
Andy Enfield cannot believe what's going on here. Quickly, poor double team there by Boatwright and Elijah Stewart. They allowed Trae Young to get out of it. And this young man right here, just so smooth, so confident. Just a freshman like Trae Young is as well.
Oklahoma's made 13 threes. They made only 10 twos in this game. Off to the races, and Jordan McLaughlin drops it in.
Best play of the night for Jordan McLaughlin, who has not had the impact I thought he would. I have seen him be the best player in big games. That has not transpired tonight. The pride of Etowanda. That's an offensive foul, please.
Brady Manick lines it up, and the rebound Metu and USC.
Metu.
Still a lot of time, 13.5 minutes to go, and the way these teams can fill it up.
A ton of time. We're just getting started here tonight on a beautiful Friday night. Love wearing shirt sleeves in mid-December, Southern California.
That's why I've got my blazer on.
You're cold.
No, I like wearing blazers in mid-December.
I used to be a blazer. I used to have a car that was called a blazer.
And we saw your number hanging in the rafters there at the Moda Center, and pictures of the guy with the long red hair and the beard.
In this building, Jamal Wilkes and Elgin Baylor have their numbers hanging in the rafters.
Yeah, but your picture's hanging up in this building for a different reason. As it wanted, don't let this man in.
Matt Freeman, excellent. Boy, he stuck with that
USC.
one. He had no. Oh, that's Rakocevic?
Rakocevic, yeah.
Sorry.
Freeman's wearing the Sooner uniform, Bill. And that's 14 threes for Oklahoma tonight.
Straighten me out here. Fasten my seatbelt.
It's end-to-end action.
I was thinking about Jamal and Elgin and the standards. You know what the standards are for getting your number retired for the Lakers? You've got to be in the Hall of Fame. If you're not in the Hall of Fame, your number doesn't get retired.
Elijah Stewart blocks the shot. The freshman Jordan Usher up the floor. Lost the ball out of bounds. Last touch by the Sooners. So you have to be a Hall of Famer. Any other requirements to have your jersey retired by the Lakers?
Well, what is higher than that? What's a higher level than the Hall of Fame?
Do you have to be an MVP? Do you have to win a world title?
If you're in the Hall of Fame, you get your number retired here.
And there they are.
There's no Laker who's in the Hall of Fame whose number is not up there.
A three for Jordan McLaughlin.
Now, they don't have all the Minnesota guys up there, because they had 5 championships of the Lakers' 16 total in Minnesota. And a lot of those guys are in the Hall of Fame too.
But they have their names up there, but not their uniforms.
You know who else is up there? Chick Hearn.
Legend. Chick's got a street named after him out front.
Greatest broadcaster ever, Chick Hearn. Oh my gosh.
Foul in Oklahoma. Trojans trying to come back.
I remember when they built this place and people said, that'll never work. And look at the temple, the shrine, the economic engine, LA Live, yeah.
Join ESPN and the V Foundation in the fight against cancer. Visit v.org/donate. All donations benefit the V Foundation for cancer research.
Thank you to ESPN. Thank you to so many people who have stepped to the front and said, hey, I'll do something to help take care of this. Nothing more important than health. You just ask any one of these Hall of Famers down here. You have Ralph with his bad knee, Elgin with his bad knee. Jamal stayed pretty darn healthy out there. Amazing how the championships just sort of followed him around.
And your health now is as good as it's ever been.
Well, since I was 13. Better now than since I was 13. So, but come on, Benny, knock down a shot one time. Wow. Nobody from USC has ever been in control of this game.
Arrow stays with USC, and the players need to be separated here. There's some John going on.
On this Hall of Fame night where we've been saluting all the great champions here, we have yet to mention, and I'm a disgrace to the profession, that Oklahoma has 2 Hall of Fame members. USC has 12. We mentioned them at the beginning. Yep. Oklahoma has 2. They're both coaches. From the class of 67, that's 1967, would be Amory Gill. And then from the class of 1972, Bruce Drake. Both of them coaches and just fantastic leaders. Whoa, wild shot. Giovanni McNeese has just been superb tonight.
And a block by Elijah Stewart.
8 all-time blocks for a little 6'4" guy.
Jordan McLaughlin trying the reverse. Loose ball out of bounds. It stays with USC. By the way, we fact-checked the Hall of Fame for the Lakers jersey to be retired. You know, Kobe's not in the Hall of Fame. He's getting his jersey retired next week.
It's not up there now, is it?
Is he to be in the Hall of Fame between now and next week?
That doesn't matter. It's not up there now.
Okay. We'll have this conversation again next week.
We're not going to be back in this building this year.
We won't be, but we'll be over at Pauley Pavilion, and we'll be down the street at the Galen Center.
Yeah. Great crowds this year at the Galen Center. This USC community is just really rallied behind Andy Enfield's fantastic program. USC, the largest private employer in the city of Angels. City of Los Angeles, the largest private employer with an $8 billion economic impact on this great city every year. Metu, beautiful.
Too strong from Stewart. The rebound. McNeese for Oklahoma. Now the Trojans trying to zone. Oklahoma's made 14 threes.
Oh my gosh.
From Steph Curry range. Trae Young off on that one. The season high, by the way. Oklahoma made 15 threes against Ball State.
Great defense. McNeese
comes over to swat it away.
And USC's whining and complaining instead of getting back on defense.
Out of bounds to the Sooners. By the way, the school record for threes, 17 for Oklahoma.
The rotation defensively here. McNeese, who can elevate with the best of them. The quickness off the floor. These guys are emblematic of the personality of Lon Kruger. Tough, fierce, no nonsense. Get the job done. Be in better shape. Look at Lon over there. He's 65 years old. He looks like he's 27. Which baseball team drafted you?
None.
None. So
they didn't want to waste a draft pick.
He got drafted by two different ones. One's out of high school, one's out of college. He was drafted by the Houston. They called him in those days the Colt 45s. I'm not sure if it was a beer or a weapon. But they're called the Astros, and they're the current champions, right?
Yes, they are.
And this team.
You probably don't want to bring that up around Los Angeles.
Why? They won. It's a fact. Please.
They beat the Dodgers.
In the 7th game, right?
Yes. And a foul on the baseline. It's against McNeese of Oklahoma.
But a real Houston presence on this Sooner squad. You got 4 key players. You got Kadeem Latin. You got Jamani McNeese. You got Cameron McGusty and Christian James. Christian James blew this game open with that 3-point barrage early on.
Off balance, Metu. Rakocevic cleans it up for USC.
Nice rugged player, Rakocevic, from the Chicago area for Andy Enfield, but there's just been not enough in the crowd trying to get something going here. Great night of basketball here at the Hall of Fame Classic.
The lead was 18 for the Sooners. SC has trimmed it to 10. It's Brady Manick.
Great rebound.
Rakocevic the rebound.
Rakocevic has taken over. Boards, stickbacks, jumpers, drives, creativity. Playing like a young John Block. Andy Enfield may need to bring John Block and Paul Westphal, both of them out here. Nice. Beautiful. Then you can have Steven Spielberg and George Lucas make a movie out of it.
Sooners have gone almost 4 minutes without a field goal as USC is down to single digits.
They're extending the zone defense here a little bit and would not leave Trae Young any angles to pass the ball out there.
Runner off from McGusty, but then again the Sooners get the loose ball. Young from deep. And Jonah Matthews runs it down for USC as Young, which is 3 points since halftime.
What's his total?
23. That means Philly had 20 in the first half.
Thanks. Metu, finally, USC. Which has, look at the speed, look at the explosiveness. USC has a great history of either having big leads and giving them up or being way down and then coming all the way back. So this game is far from over.
You mentioned the leads.
Right.
USC rallied from 14 down at Vanderbilt, and they won that game in overtime. They trailed by 10 and came back to beat North Dakota State at home as Young is at the line. Last year, USC led the country with 13 wins when trailing by double digits in a game.
Wow. How do you know all this stuff?
It's called reading, Bill. You think I can't, but I do.
No. You're a Conference of Champions graduate. You graduated from Berkeley, right? So
I graduated from Cal, yes.
Cal Berkeley.
University of California, Bill.
Right, Cal Berkeley.
University of California. We've had this discussion.
Okay, so I know you can read. That was never my question to you. Do you read? throw it down.
And a block will send Metu to the line. 8:23 to go.
So the challenge for these Trojans is to develop the level of consistency of the great champions. And there's been so many fantastic leaders that have come out of USC. Jerry Buss, Hall of Fame. Spielberg, Lucas, Will Ferrell, Neil Armstrong, Tom Selleck, Ron Howard, all these guys. And that's the standard of excellence.
Speaking of excellence, trifecta of events for you on ESPN Saturday. 4 Eastern, the MLS Cup between Toronto FC and the Seattle Sounders. Then at 8, the Heisman Trophy presentation. And at 9, top-ranked boxing, the WBO Junior Lightweight title fight between Vasily Lomachenko and Guillermo Rigondeaux.
So I've been coming across a lot of boxers lately in my travel, and I just did see the Ken Burns Jack Johnson movie. Wow, what a story.
And a block by Kadeem Latin.
Kadeem Latin. Kadeem Allen used to play for the Arizona Wildcats in the Conference of Champions.
Yes.
But Kadeem Allen, as a young boy, had a very serious speech impediment, like I still have. But he's overcome that through hard work, as Mom Monica really worked on it with him. And now he's just doing great. Now he wants to be the mayor of Houston one day. Beautiful pass.
Got 4 blocks in this game, but Nick Rakocevic with 10 off the bench for USC. The Trojans are within 4.
And all the momentum is with the Trojans right now. The band needs to play more. Is the band prohibited from playing during the game?
Why don't you go?
What are the rules? Are you trying to get me out of here or what? Beautiful passing.
Kadeem Latin and 1.
Wow. When you talk about nice passing, watch that MLS championship game. This has been, Metu though really has come alive with everything. Interior passing, draw the defenders, 3-4 guys right there, and a strong left-handed finish. We've got a game.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Zales. 'Tis the season to save and sparkle more than ever.
The Rose Bowl up in Pasadena.
Isn't that where Oklahoma and Georgia are going to play?
Yes.
And then
the
Alabama and Clemson are going to play down in the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans.
And here's your Heisman finalists, which will be handed out tomorrow. The Heisman Trophy. Lamar Jackson, who won it last year. Baker Mayfield, Bryce Love from Stanford. All right, Bill, if you had a vote, since you don't, I can ask you and put you on the spot. Who would you vote for?
I've never seen any of them play. So,
but you were talking about Baker Mayfield as if you knew.
Well, I guess because I was talking to the Oklahoma guys today.
You never watched Bryce Love play for Stanford or Lamar Jackson play for Louisville?
Bank in the free throw. Kadeem Latin shakes his head running down. When do you have time to watch football games?
I have to.
Really?
I cover
You don't
football.
have to. You get to.
Well, that's true.
Please.
I get to.
Didn't you learn from Tum Tum at Michigan State? It's not a world of have to. It's a world of get to. And then also Miles Bridges.
And I love to.
When he said, it's not about me, it's about us. Jordan McLaughlin
hits a 3 for the Trojans.
The way this game is going, USC is going to win by 10. Wow, what a turn of events here. And Jonah Matthews out in front has somehow found a way to get inside of Trae Young, and he's got to blast by him and get open. Hesitation here by the Sooners.
Brady Manick missing from the corner, but cleaning it up. Christian James for Oklahoma, who's tied a career high with 17 points.
I love the fake shot when you just turn it, dump it off, a little pass for the stick back right there. Oklahoma, wow. So when Metu handles the ball that far from the hoop, that's just a waste because it's not his game up there.
And Kadeem Latin changes the shot of Nick Rakocevic.
Metu should never handle the ball outside the free throw, outside the paint. Just work for position. The two best that I ever played against at working for position, Kareem and Kevin McHale. The top 2 low post players I ever played against. Beautiful pass, Trae Young.
And a three knocked in by Jordan Shepard, his first points of the night. 15 three-pointers for the Oklahoma Sooners.
The sophomore from Asheville, North Carolina, who backs up Trae Young. You're not going to get a lot of opportunities in that role.
Elijah Stewart answers for USC.
Finally, a game with rhythm for both teams playing well at the same time. Who can finish? Who's in shape? I know Curtis Schultz has got him in shape for the Trojans.
Not bad for a guy that took a final exam earlier today, as Elijah Stewart has made 7 threes in this game.
Bryce Daub, the guy for strength and conditioning guy for the Sooners. Kadeem Latin will never get tired. McLaughlin's got pace to his game right now.
And another turnover by USC. That's 16 for the Trojans tonight.
Oh, Oklahoma showing the ball movement of a true champion here. Whipping it around, everybody touches it. And then Jordan Shepard. Was that his first bucket of the night?
His first points of the night.
Well, they left the right guy open. This is a guy, Christian James, who I would not leave open. He had that beautiful over the top.
Backdoor lob to Christian James.
You might want to guard that.
19 now for James, a new career high.
Christian James did not shoot well last year. Last year was a very tough year. But fortunately, the Sooners have Coach Chris Crutchfield, who is a master recruiter and future head coach. He's the one that got Buddy Hield to come from the Bahamas. He's the one that got Trae Young to stay home and turn down Kentucky and Kent. When you turn down Bill Self and John Calipari, you've got a good recruiter for your squad right there. Chris Crutchfield, who's sitting stoically on the bench right behind Lon Kruger. I'm not even sure if he can see the game.
Matthews open. And
Oh,
the follow
yeah.
slam by Elijah Stewart.
Wow. Standing jump for Elijah Stewart. He can get to 12-6.
We just saw him.
Yeah. The only one on the Trojan team that can get higher is Metu. Okay, can Brady handle this ball up top?
Look how far they're extending the pressure on Young. Jonah Matthews out with him near midcourt.
But his ability, oh, nice.
And a drop off to Brady Manick.
You could not do that any better. Shake and bake, freeze him, get by him, jump back into him with your lead shoulder, then draw the defense and hand it off to somebody else. They're going to call this over and back here. Oklahoma defense, they keep recovering. Every time it seems they're just going to be overwhelmed by the tide here in Los Angeles. They're the ones who are still standing. Trojans running out of time.
Eight-point lead for the Sooners. 3:48 to go at Staples Center in this matchup in downtown LA, along with the Hall of Famer Bill Walton. Roxy Bernstein with you. And Bill, Trae Young, who leads the country in scoring, has been quiet in the second half, but he does have 25 points for the ball game and 9 assists. He is dictating this ball game and leading his team out in front of USC.
On this night when we celebrate the Hall of Fame, at the Hall of Fame Classic, in the entertainment capital of the world, all these fabulous legends from years gone by, in the shadows of the retired numbers high above the floor here at Staples Center, Trae Young, by far the best player early on. USC has shown signs of life, but they are going to need a near miracle to come back at this point. Yes, there's time, but Oklahoma is still playing very well. Great closeout defense, Beenie Boatwright. Plenty of time here. Spread the floor.
And Christian James also career high 19 points for the Sooners. He's made 5 threes in the game.
I would not come out and set a screen. Oh, beautiful play.
Foul on the drive against Jonah Matthews, his 4th.
And that's one of the reasons why you start the game on fire, is because you earn a call like that.
Team 7th, so 1-1. Young is 5 of 5 at the line. The Sooners are 6 for 6. And he missed. And Elijah Stewart the rebound. It's stunning when he misses.
One of the things I love about Andy Enfield, academic All-American himself, while he's been there at USC in the handful of years, he's had unprecedented academic success for his players. His wife Amanda is here tonight. Their 3 children, Eiley, Lily, Markham, the youngest of 3, Markham, the only boy in the family. They're sitting right over there behind the USC Trojan bench.
Sooners with the ball, 2:50 to play in an 8-point lead.
Okay, who's going to take over down the stretch here? You got Elijah Stewart with length. Jonah Matthews can guard Trae Young, but when you're a great offensive player, nobody can stop you. You need 2. Beautiful split.
Shovels it to Brady Manic to beat the shot clock. They'll check it. USC wants him to wave it off.
That was clearly good. If they have to review this one.
So that is under review with 2:31 to play. Did he get it off in time?
So with the technology that we have available, why isn't everybody just wearing sensors? We're going to driverless cars, right? And
we're headed in that direction.
AEG is working with all the tech companies, USC and all the tech companies.
Here's another look. Now,
okay.
Manic, look for the light on top of the basket. And the shot clock is at 0. So
is it the clock or the horn?
Well, it's the clock. Because
but isn't the clock synced up with the?
It's supposed to be. At some places,
does it get to?
Not.
Does it get to 0 while there's still a half a second on?
There's an order. It goes clock, lights, horn.
Horn is last.
Horn is last.
Wow.
Learned this firsthand in our Pac-12 opener. Miles Simon and I recall this game 6 years ago in Arizona, Colorado.
Oh, and that guy, the left-hander, banked it in.
Chen from Colorado.
That was one of the great games
we thought
ever.
It was good, but it wasn't because there was a discrepancy with the shot clock. So they'll wave it off.
They're waving this one off tonight?
No basket.
Wow.
Shot clock violation, turnover on Oklahoma.
That sure looked perfect from here. But then again, I was the guy who not too many minutes ago, I couldn't tell which team was which.
Seems to be a common thread with you.
A recurring event. Jordan McLaughlin saves it. The versatility of this Oklahoma team.
10 to shoot for the Trojans. Metu off balance. Boatwright the offensive rebound.
Great
knocked
defense,
away by Latin, who recovers it for the Sooners.
How tough, how good, how persistent, how passionate. Wow. Kadeem Latin, glory road in his own right. Keep running when they're grabbing you on the weak side. Make the referees call a foul.
6 blocks tonight for Kadeem Latin.
Really? That's a traveling violation.
Off balance, Trae Young, 27 for the freshman.
What a talent. I'm a believer.
And Metu for USC.
So Trae Young, who's leading the nation at 28. Oscar, you've heard of him, right?
Yes.
His number's retired in 2 different places. The Royals, Cincinnati, Sacramento now, and also in Milwaukee. He averaged for 3 straight years 34 and 15. That's 15 boards.
And a foul call will put Latin at the line with 1:01
That's
to go.
a very tough call. Kadeem Latin, sorry. He had no place to go.
Saturday, we have an afternoon doubleheader of hoops for you. #1 Duke takes on Boston College at noon Eastern from Chestnut Hill. Then it's Indiana and Louisville. Both games are on ESPN and streaming live on the ESPN app.
Since it's Hall of Fame night, since Krzyzewski's in the Hall of Fame, did you see where Nike just named a brand new building after Coach K? What a great deal that is.
McLaughlin draws a foul, 54 and change to play. In fact, Eric Lautenbach was telling me about that building going up at Nike.
Right. 3 new buildings, well, 4 new buildings. One of them is going to be a parking lot, so they don't want to name it after anybody.
Name it after you.
No.
Because that's the only place you're allowed.
No, I'm not allowed there. I turned them down.
That's right. We went through that. And
Yes,
Phil Knight's never let you forget that either.
No, he doesn't. But they're going to name one after Sebastian Coe, Coach K. And then I forget the third one. Eric, what's the third guy's name? Eric's busy down there.
4 fouls on Ladden. McLaughlin gets the roll. And a timeout, and now again players need to be separated.
Usher's
it's
the
Trae
tough
Young
guy.
of Oklahoma and Jordan Usher, the freshman for the Trojans.
From Canton, Georgia, 6'7", Jordan Usher, just fierce and tough. And Andy Enfield needed this kind of exuberance and purpose from the opening tip. He didn't get it. Now he finds himself up against it. But you hate to see anybody, much less the game's best player, have to burn a timeout just to maintain possession. Especially someone who can pass the ball so well.
53.7 seconds remaining.
And the great alumni network for USC, Bill McMorrow, Kennedy Wilson, and global real estate empire, man, they're not going to be happy.
Let me ask you a basketball question.
They're all basketball questions. It all rolls into one.
If you're USC, how quickly do you look to foul?
You got to get the ball back right away. I mean, the clock is your supreme enemy. And so you're not playing great. The other team is been in control. You got to get it going right now. I mean, why wait?
And the Sooners are a terrific foul shooting team at 76%.
That's Lon Kruger. That's why he's going to the Hall of Fame. That's why you said he's the only person ever to take 5 different teams to. They got a foul here, but you just keep moving the ball. Don't wait.
And they fouled Jordan Shepherd.
If he had passed the ball to Brady, then they could have taken another 20 seconds off the clock. I don't get this one.
Second foul on Stewart. So it's Jordan Shepherd, a 72% foul shooter on the year, and a 1-and-1 with the 19th foul against the Trojans.
The Trojans in danger of losing their 3rd consecutive game.
After that 4-0 start. Losses at home to Texas A&M. And also on the road to SMU, a game they led at halftime as Shepherd hits both.
That is perfect free throw execution. Now, if you're Oklahoma, just play good, tough defense.
Metu the finish and a foul put him at the line.
Please. Okay. Who gets called for that foul?
It's on Jordan Shepherd.
Right, who's just a little tiny guy, and you got Metu who's going to throw one down with the best of them. I mean, please, just let him go and grab the ball quickly and throw it up the court and run out the clock. Oh my gosh.
Metu is 63% foul shooter, 2 for 2 at the line tonight.
Just keep running, keep moving that ball.
You don't want to foul Young if you can help it. Out of bounds, it stays with Oklahoma.
What a smart and heady player. Think he'll get his number retired at Oklahoma?
He's got a shot. The way he's going, he's got a chance.
Joining the likes of Wayman Tisdale, Blake Griffin, that's coming up pretty
with Wayman
soon.
Tisdale, they're the only freshman in Sooner basketball history to have a 40-point game.
Really?
Yeah. Wayman Tisdale did it 3 times.
Not even Mookie Blaylock?
Nope.
Not even Alvin Adams?
Nope.
Not even Stacey King?
Not Blake Griffin? Nope.
Come on. Wow, that's amazing. Tisdale could play. I mean,
Wayman Tisdale was a terrific player.
Yeah, no longer with us. Rest in peace, Wayman. What numbers here. Most of these were in the first half. What do you have at the half?
20.
20, yeah. 9 assists. He's 3rd in the nation there.
The average is
I do not believe.
just under 9 assists per game.
So this is an average game for him.
This is an average game for Trae Young, yeah.
And he was the best player in the game.
Although Christian James had a really
there is
strong
still
game
a ton
also
of time here. Right, Christian James. Well, he's the finisher. You know, you got to have a setup guy. You got to have a creator. You got to have a finisher. Now, USC is by no stretch of the imagination out of this game, but they're going to need a miracle here.
And they do foul Young, and it's on Jordan Usher. And Trae Young will shoot 2 as Oklahoma's in the double bonus.
So it seems as if somebody
Somebody might have put pause on their iPod.
Somebody who's in control of the sound system here is leaning on the button.
And it wasn't the Grateful Dead either, though.
So how about the Dead having to cancel the end of their tour because John Mayer had an emergency appendectomy in New Orleans? The curse of New Orleans for the Grateful Dead lingers on. I was unable to find anyone who at the collegiate level led the game in scoring and assists in the same season, the way that Tiny Archibald did in the NBA.
Trae Young has a chance. Jordan McLaughlin gets the roll. And USC takes their final timeout with 22.3 to go.
So he's leading at 28 points a game.
Yes, and he's got 29,
in the nation.
28.7 coming into play tonight. And Trae Young with 29. He scored 28 or more in each of the last 6 games.
So we're early in the season.
Yes.
Never forget that Rick Barry once averaged 37 points a game for the whole season. Pistol Pete 44 points for his whole career. Billy McGill from right down the road here up at Utah.
And this is an Oklahoma team, Bill, that was picked to come in 6th in the Big 12 this year. We're going to get to see Kansas against an undefeated Arizona State team on Sunday at Clog Allen Fieldhouse. With TCU still going to play here tonight, that game over on ESPNU with Sam Farber and Sean Farnham coming up at 10 o'clock Pacific time. You got to see Mo Bamba in Texas at the PK80.
I didn't
just
get to see
Baylor
him. When did you get to see Mo Bamba?
I snuck in and watched him when they played Gonzaga. Before the game
that was a heck of a game.
That was a great game.
Gonzaga.
Baylor dealing with some injuries right now, but they're going to be a really strong team as well. 85-80 Oklahoma.
TCU's, they're in the Big 12, right? They're one of the 10 teams in the Big 12,
yes.
right? Okay.
Yes.
So I got to see Jamie Dixon.
He's their coach.
Right. This morning at practice.
Yeah.
He grew up here.
Yeah.
In LA. Went to Notre Dame High School. And I asked him, well, what about the 10 o'clock start? I mean, that's kind of unusual. And he said, Bill, when I grew up here in Los Angeles, basketball, didn't dominate. ESPN wasn't happening then. And so UCLA basketball was the only thing on TV for basketball. And the games started on television at 11 o'clock at night. They were played at 8 o'clock.
They were tape delayed.
Tape delayed. And Jamie would stay up as a young child and listen to Dick Enberg on Channel 5 call the games by himself.
Watching you?
That I'm not sure he's that old.
Manic missed them both. It's a 2-possession game. SC needs to go quickly. McLaughlin to the basket and one.
Oh my God.
And Lon Kruger's beside himself that they would foul and send USC to the line with 11.5 seconds to go and give them an and-one opportunity.
So they've given them 2-and-1 situations here. They fouled Metu on the dunk from behind. Jeez. The guy's going in for the layup. Let him score.
It's on Christian James, his third.
Christian James is an outstanding defensive player. He's not at the level of Michael Jordan or Scottie Pippen or Bill Russell or Hakeem or Kareem.
Not many are.
Keep moving the ball. Throw up the court here, please.
And they don't foul.
No, they
SC
tried to.
They fouled.
They tried to. Wow.
And now they finally do.
And number 1 there, oh my gosh. Usher, he's looking at the ref, Jordan Usher, and saying, look, I tried to foul him and you're not going to blow the whistle? Oklahoma has only themselves to blame that this game has become this close with the ill-advised fouls.
And Trae Young misses the first.
Is that 3 straight for the Sooners from the free throw line?
2 by Manic and now Young. So a 2-point game with 3.1 to go. USC does not have a timeout. Oklahoma's just made 4 of their last 9 at the line. He missed them both. A chance to win for USC. McLaughlin. Oklahoma hangs on, and the Sooners escape the Staples Center with a win.
And Trae Young just looks over at the Sooner loyalist here, says, I'm sorry, that's my bad right there for missing those free throws. Wow. What a game. What a finish. The Sooners missed their last 4 free throws. The Trojans get the ball, push up their best player, Elijah Stewart. He had maybe one more dribble in him if he was going a little bit faster, but the Sooners defense was just too good, and Oklahoma holds on. Lon Kruger, congratulations. Our condolences to Andy Enfield, and the Trojans lose their 3rd straight game. Who would have ever thought with that much talent? Yikes. Oklahoma was the better team tonight throughout.
Trae Young, 29 points, 9 assists, a career high 19 for Christian James. As Oklahoma now 7-1, SC has lost 3 straight.
Stay with us. This next game, Nevada, Reno, and TCU. That'll be great basketball. The Hall of Fame celebration rolls on here in Los Angeles, the city of angels, the top of the mountain. What could be better?
Oklahoma 85, USC 83. For Bill Walton, Roxy Bernstein joining you from Staples Center. More action to come over on ESPNU.